Okay, once again, I want to thank everyone for doing what they do. And again, I want to thank my YouTube friends and my Facebook friends. But anyway, I want to talk to you about my Juneteenth ride. Well, not so much about the Juneteenth ride. I just got back from it. But my ride from Montana back to Washington State. But if you want to see this full video, just check out my channel and my Facebook page. Okay, so let's get into it. So anyway, I just got back from my Juneteenth ride, on a Friday, and I stopped in at the Bellingham area, or the corner where they do their protests, which are friendly, peaceful protests. And I had a chance to talk with a gentleman who was 98 years old. 98 years old, from Tennessee. He said he lives up in the mountains in Tennessee. And he had an interesting take on Monopoly game, which involved, once again, my people and white people. But I'll have to tell you about that in another video. But that was kind of like the high point of my Juneteenth ride, because he asked me where I had been and where I was out riding, and I told him, well, I went on my Juneteenth ride. So that aside, I want to talk about my ride back from Great Falls, Montana, where I picked up this 2016 Roadglide Special. I had to look into why it's called the Special, but I'll get into that in another video. But anyway, I want to big shout out to the dealership, Big Sky Harley Davidson in Great Falls, Montana. I went there to pick up the bike because I bought the bike about 2 months prior to going to pick it up. I had to go see the folks back in Illinois, and I decided, well, on my train trip home, I would stop in and get a hotel and then take a bus down to Great Falls. But the train had other ideas. It had a breakdown, and I knew I would miss my window of getting a bus from the town that the train stops in. So that plan went out the window. So I just came on home, and the very next day I had to get on a train and come out to Great Falls. So I did that. So I get to go to a little town, and I had to get a hotel because it's Sunday, and the Harley Davidson dealership doesn't open until Tuesday. So here I am Sunday, I'm out getting a hotel, and I get off the train, and it's like, I want to say maybe 12 noon. And it's like 40, it might have been 45 degrees. And I had to find a hotel. I called, and they told me where they were. And the hotel was almost 3 miles away. So I'm walking. Okay, got my backpack on with my leathers in it. And so I'm walking. I finally made it to the hotel, and of course it's, that two hotels, one on each side of the highway, and they're always right off the an exit of the highway. And so I get there. I stayed at a Comfort Inn. It was really nice. They even had breakfast for you in the morning. And so I stayed there that night. Sound like the brewery over there is, oh my goodness. Well, I don't know if you heard all that cheering, but something's going on over there. Maybe I'll stop in over there and check that out. But anyway, so I stayed the night, and Monday morning I get up, and so I had to take a bus down to Great Falls. And so I get to Great Falls and I get another hotel. And so, and it was, what was the name of that hotel? Great Falls Inn. Not as nice as the Comfort Inn. Comfort Inn had a swimming pool, had a sauna, had a workout room. You know, you can go and work off some steam or pump a little bit of iron. None of which I did. And so I stayed there until Tuesday morning, and the dealership was in walking distance. And so I walked there. I think the dealership was maybe about a mile away. So I walked there, and I get to the dealership, and the first person that greets me was the salesman that I talked with about purchasing my motorcycle. He had no idea who I was. I just walked in the door, and he greeted me and asked me, you know, hey, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I'm here to pick up my bike. He says, oh, what bike did you get? I said, that 2016 Roadglide. And he kind of like froze because he took my phone call, I think maybe 2 days earlier, and said they would get the bike ready for me. And I don't know if they were really busy, so I don't think they got around to it. And so he kind of disappeared in the back and you know, told me to have a seat and enjoy all the things, that the free stuff that they were giving away. And so I got a free t-shirt, not this one here, but it was a shirt, the company shirt, you know, Big Sky Harley Davidson. So I got a free t-shirt, and they did their safety check on the bike, and come to find out I had a little pinhole leak in the rear tire. And so I get a brand new rear tire, and they did some more checks because they knew I had an 800-mile journey across some land that I have never been in before, on a bike that I had never even thrown a leg over before. And so I leave there, and I got my route charted out, and I knew I was going to be going up into the mountains. And I got on the highway. It's a scenic highway. I want to say it's Highway 200. And that led me into one of the towns that I knew I was going to make some stops in. And one of the towns was Lincoln, Montana. And so I stopped in Lincoln, Montana, gassed up, and got a bite to eat. And the locals, they were very friendly, you know, and they told me that it might be snowing up there, young man. I don't know why she called me young man. I was older than she was, but anyway. And she was telling me, you might want to turn back, and I got a place you can lay your head at. And I'm like, well, thank you, ma'am. That's very nice of you. And so I journeyed on, and I got about maybe 15 miles up into the mountain, and sure enough, it started raining at first. The rain, I really didn't, you know, that wouldn't make me turn back. But then the snowflakes started falling. And I was not about to chance going through the mountains and everything, you know, started snowing. So I thought better of it. And so I turned around and went on back to Lincoln. And so I got me a hotel there and stayed the night. And fortunately for me, the next morning was beautiful, sunshine. So I packed everything in and took off, and was riding up through the mountains and seen a lot of things, you know. Montana is very huge and it's vast. You can travel hours without seeing another car. And I enjoyed the scenery, and I'd seen some what looked like to be cabins that were left by probably, I want to say, people who lived, you know, there probably, I don't know, maybe 50s, 60s, maybe 100 years ago, you know. I don't know what they called them, early settlers. But, you know, it kind of showed me how people in that area lived and what they had to do to survive. little bug on my lens there. But, you know, and I'm out there, you know, traveling, and I'm wondering, well, man, you know, I didn't bring a tire kit. I didn't bring no tools. All I had was a couple bottles of water and a sandwich. And, you know, if something were to happen, and I'm out there all alone, boy, I would imagine, you know, it could be very bad, you know, for anybody, you know, probably even worse for anybody on a motorcycle. And so there I was, you know, going through Montana, and I loved it. I mean, the scenery was just awesome. I'd do it again, but probably not by myself. If I had to do it by myself, I would definitely become much better prepared than I was. But I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to get to the dealership and grab my bike and get on home. And the bike, it performed pretty good. I had no issues. The only real issue I had was these vents. I didn't know how to close them until I got to another Harley Davidson dealership, and they showed me how to open and close these vents. Because, you know, going up through the mountain, when it gets cool, you got all that cool air coming at you. And so, yeah, I got those closed, and it was a big difference. And so I get to Sound Harley Davidson. Well, actually coming up over the pass was what was that, Snow Follow Me Pass? Oh, it was just, you know, breathtaking coming up over the pass there. And so once you get over the pass, now you got your descent, and you got semis coming by me at, you know, they're doing like 70 miles an hour and downhill, okay? And I'm right next to them. Those guys are looking over at me, probably trying to see where I was at, you know, because they didn't want to hit me. But I'm just glad the Roadglide handles as well as it did. But I was on new tires, of course, as they say in NASCAR. You're on sticker tires. But anyway, the trip went well. And so right now I'm gonna take this phone off its stand, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've added to the bike, and I want to talk about some things that it may need. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so I guess first I'm probably going to talk about I'll just start at the front here. These are some of the things that I've done to the bike. I took out the stock caliper bolts, and I installed titanium caliper bolts and a little bit of what I call safety wire. And I think I'm going to leave these brakes. They work pretty nice because these are made by Brembo for Harley Davidson. And so I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone, because if I were to get some upgraded brakes, they would be some 6-piston brakes. And I know those 6 pistons work really nice, but they're really expensive also. And so the other thing that I upgraded to was the engine guard. As you can see, this one is black, but it came with chrome engine guard, and they're a little taller also. But I thought the blacked out look looks a little nicer. And I also changed out, I got a different windshield, and these are turn signals that I added to the bike. But I think those black engine guards look a lot nicer. Of course, it's shadowed on the right side, so you really can't see it that well. And another thing I did was, so I changed to this high flow air cleaner. You know, these things, well, now this one here didn't cost a whole lot of money. I think this one was, I want to say $86 on eBay. Now, I've seen some that were as much as $400 and $500 and pretty much look exactly like this one. But you know me, I'm gonna modify almost anything I get. So I put some LEDs on the inside of here, and I also put a velocity stack on the inside. And I routed, anybody that has a Harley knows what I'm talking about. You know, the Harley breathes through the heads, and there are breather bolts through here. And those copper tubing, which I put in there, the stock system that came with this air cleaner, it routes the air mist back into the carburetor. So I changed that all that out, and so that air mist now goes into those copper tubes, and they come out here in this canister, which collects the mist, and it vents it out to atmosphere. I ran two. Some guys will just run one, so I got one on each side, and it works out pretty well. I'll turn those LEDs on a little later. But another thing is, I think I have an oil pressure gauge on all my motorcycles, and this is it right here. This particular one, I wouldn't suggest getting. This one is not oil filled. It still works pretty well, but its original location, or its intended location, would be up here, right off the rocker boxes, and that's where it was supposed to mount. And so I did a little modifications to the heat deflectors here that come with these bikes. And then once I got all this done, come to find out, when I sit on the bike, I couldn't see my oil pressure gauge, because if you're looking down at it right here, it would be like right here, but my legs are covering it. Well, they cover most of the oil pressure gauge. And I think to myself, well, that's not going to work out. So I mounted mine down here on the push rod blocks, and also fashioned up an LED to illuminate it at night. And these came with a braided line for your oil pressure that mounts to your sending unit down in here. Well, I threw that thing out, and I knew I wanted to use solid copper lines. I did the same thing with my Buick, and these solid copper lines works out really nice. And I think it, in my opinion, it looks a little nicer. And another thing that I've done is I got new speaker lids. There are no speakers in it right now because the ones that I got from Amazon didn't fit. So I had to send them back, and I'm gonna get some more pricier speakers. And these airfoil at the back, these, it's kind of dark here, so let me move out the way. Those are gonna be my turn signals. I ordered a LED strip, and turn signals, the strip is gonna go right in here. And so how they work is they light up from, well, if you're turning right, it'll go left to right like that. And I thought that was pretty cool, but I'll install them when they get here. And I think probably the best upgrade I did was these shocks here. These are remote reservoir shocks, and this setup here, these are LEDs that will illuminate the shocks at night. And I'll post another photo of it. But now these are not the really good ones that you might find from Allens, and there's a couple other companies out there that makes these. Legend Suspension makes some, but those things are anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, and my pockets don't go that deep. Actually, they don't go deep at all. And so I also installed a sissy bar. I don't know, in my opinion, it kind of reminds me of Satan's tail. And it comes to a point like that. And so the mounting bolts, I threw those out and I put in some, again, titanium mounting bolts. And what's another thing? And of course, you know, titanium bolts for the license plates. And so walking around this side, there's not a whole lot going on this side. These are my switches, which turns on the LEDs for the air cleaner and the LEDs for the shocks. And there's one more, yeah. Oh, it turns on the LED for the oil pressure gauge. And what I'm going to do in the future is put an LED for my temperature gauge here. I'm not sure if I can turn on my light. Let's just see here. Well, okay. I guess that's not working. But anyway, the oil cooler. This is a Ducati style oil cooler. Almost said Earl cooler. And I have one of these on my Sportster, the exact same setup. The Sportster has a temperature gauge on it, and at the bottom it has another oil pressure gauge. I didn't do that with the Roadglide here. I was just more concerned about the oil temperature. And so that's working out well. I took out the stock oil cooler, which would have been in this empty space right there, because I think it's gonna cool a lot better if it's in direct airflow. And so, oh, and another thing, let me see if I can get in here. So if you can see there, now my oil filter, that's one of those grooved reusable oil filters, and it was black. Let me see if I can get a better photo of it. Yeah, here we go. So I took that and got my Dremel out and pretty much just machined down the powder coating on the fins there, because they sell that same oil cooler for like $146. It's the exact same thing, but it looks like this. So I wasn't gonna give somebody $146. I paid $65 on Amazon for this one here. And of course I just, did my thing to it. And if you want one like this, go to Amazon and get one, and just take your Dremel, and just pretty much just sand off the paint. I don't think it's paint, but I think it's a powder coating, and it'll look just like one of these. It'll look just like the ones that cost you almost $150. And so that's pretty much it. I took my mirrors and put them in a different location. Now this bike, any other Roadglide would come with Harley Davidson boombox. The previous owner took the boombox out for whatever reason, and put in this JVC head unit, and it works fine. I don't think I would have got much use out of the boombox anyway. I think it does come with GPS, but hey, the GPS works pretty good on my phone. Google Maps works just as great. And so that's pretty much it. Oh, I almost forgot. There's something I did on my Sportster, and I thought I'd try it out on my Roadglide. And inside the rear brake master cylinder is an LED. And I'll show you that most likely in another video, another photo. Well, actually here, I'll show you what it looks like. Actually, all of them. So I'll just turn the switches on. And so those are the LEDs inside the air cleaner. And this is the one for the oil cooler. And then there's this one that's inside the rear brake reservoir. And it looks pretty nice at night. And there's only one other LED that I'm gonna add to the bike, and that's gonna be for this temperature gauge over here. And I think that's gonna be it for LEDs. Okay, Facebook friends, that's it for right now. And everybody stay safe out there.